So, what does a beach, depression, and finances all have in common? Me. I guess you could say I hit the trifecta. But it's brought me here to be with you guys today on stage to talk to you about how I am living my life to the fullest with God in control. And I hope to be an inspiration to all of you for you to examine your life to see where your life could be more in control, with God in control. I'm going to take you back to how my story began about a year ago with my faith journey. Cabo San Lucas, Friday, January 27th, 2023, 7:11 in the morning. My phone rings. Stodge of Burnsville calling me to let me know my car's done. Perfect, kids are back in Minnesota, they can take care of it. This is our fun celebration. It's my 50th birthday. This is why we're here. The sun's shining through. It's our last day in Cabo. So excited. I slept on the pullout the night before because if any of you have a spouse that has restless leg syndrome, which I have, your legs will go crazy. You want to shake your arms and shake your legs so your spouse cannot sleep. So I decided that night to sleep on the pullout. So after I get off the phone, I sit on the edge of the bed. It's eerie, it's quiet, it's heavy. It's one of those moments where your heart hits your stomach, but you don't know why. I look over at Ross. He's laying in bed. His arms kind of up, covered, sheets over him. Hey, Ross, hey, babe, you awake? No answer. So I stand up, walk over to the edge of the bed where his feet are, grab them. They're cold. They're ice cold. His feet are always cold, though. In Minnesota, he has to wear socks all the time. But these are ice cold. I jumped up onto the bed faster than I think I ever should have been able to, putting my hands on his back. It's cold. He's not breathing. He's not moving. I start shaking him, thinking that if I shake him or hit him hard enough, he's going to start breathing again. I'm able to pull him over. And my worst nightmare hit. He was completely blue. He was gone. He was dead. God left me in Cabo by myself with a dead husband. God, where are you? God didn't leave me, though. After the doctor came up, put the oximeter on, pronounced him dead, I had my husband's head in my lap, crying. You know, you're numb, you're in a fog, don't know what's going to happen. In comes my angel, Atazari, my first angel. She walked in and looked at me, said, Candy, I'm so sorry for your loss, but I'm going to be here with you. You can trust me, and I'm not leaving your side. So God spoke to me through that angel when I thought I was alone. That afternoon, my second angel came into my life. It was the lady from the funeral home. You know, it had only been a few hours since I lost my husband, but I had to make that decision. Are you going to cremate him, or are you going to send him home? Well, we came together. We're going home together, even if I have to bring him home in a box. So as we're visiting, the cops are up in the room doing their investigation. I get to go back up, probably about 4 hours later, to a crime scene. Didn't faze me at that moment, but when I walked through the door, drawers were open, clothes was everywhere. It looked like basically a drug raid. In comes another set of angels, the bellmen. They help me pack everything up, get myself to another room. Later on that day, the lady from the funeral home, who was my other angel, second angel out of the 4, so 3 so far, told me she was gonna come pick me up at 9 o'clock the next morning because I had to go do an interview. Well, this is something new to me. I've never had someone die on me before. So I was ready to go. Saturday morning, 9 o'clock. We're driving down the road. She points out, there's the crematory. That's where Ross is gonna be cremated later today. There's the funeral home. There's my office. And we keep driving. I'm thinking the interview was gonna be at the funeral home. I'm numb, fog, don't know what's going on. That moment I pick up my phone, angel number 4, my brother-in-law. I text him and say, I don't know where I'm going. I just want you to know I'm with a lady from the funeral home if something happens. So as we're driving, I look at her and say, where are we going? We're going to the police station, Cabo San Lucas Police Department. Remember the crime scene? All of a sudden, I got sick to my stomach and I almost threw up in her car because I didn't know what I was going to be walking into. I text my brother-in-law, let him know where I was going. We walk in, police bring us to an interrogation room with a couple detectives. As I sit down in my chair, the detectives takes these 2 files, pushes them forward. I look at it, Ross Lindsay Walhoff, Candace May Wolf. My heart rate was going crazy. My Apple Watch said my heart rate was abnormally high. I thought right then and there, I'm never going home. I'm going to the Mexican prison, where I am in a country where they can do anything they want to me. So I text my brother-in-law. We get a good friend that has an attorney on speed dial. After about an hour of them interrogating me of why the phone was off the hook in the room, and me finally explaining everything to them, I was told, well, we didn't find any puncture wounds in him. There was no cuts, no violent, no violent like chokings, anything, and they didn't find any sharp objects, no weapons, no broken glass, no signs of a struggle. And I wanted to say, really? Are you kidding me? That was my husband. I would never in my right mind do anything. I love him. He was the love of my life, my best friend, who's gone. He's dead. And here I am sitting in a police station. Finally, after about 3 hours of this, I finally looked over to the funeral home lady and said, is anybody going to tell me how my husband died? Detective? Yeah, it was a massive heart attack. No big deal. As I sat there for 3 hours wondering if I was ever going to make it home, to see my kids again, to see my parents again, to be able to hug my kids again. I mean, they just lost their dad. My whole time was thinking they're gonna lose their mom. So the next day I find out that I'm gonna be able to get his cremation box so I could go home on Monday. Monday I get a fly back home. I get home at about 10 o'clock Monday night. My whole family's there. Everybody made it back to Minnesota before I did. To a whole new nightmare. Finding out I have $60,000 to my name. My husband had cleared out our retirement. My head was in the sand. I didn't know. I have a 17-year-old son at home. How am I going to raise a 17-year-old son off of $60,000 and what I make? So the one thing I've learned is I do every day live my life to the fullest for God because He has provided for me. Every step of the way, He was there for me. And I also want to tell you to make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them every time you see them, because you never know when that last breath is going to be taken. God, when I thought He was gone, He wasn't gone. He was with me. He sent me 4 angels to minister to me. He also sent me a couple devils that actually stole from me through that raid. But you know what? God's good. God is great. And He will take care of you if you put your faith in Him. And ladies, please don't be like me and bury your head in the sand.